So apologies to the very hardcore old subscribers. This might seem like I'm rehashing an old controversy, but it is worth reemphasizing given the recent arrest of Mr. P Diddy Puffy Sean Combs. So please subscribe to the other channels if you can. Please consider supporting this channel via channel memberships or through whatever means. So let us get to it. Some people in the comments are saying that he was denied bail again. He tried to get bail the first time. And they're saying it's the actual nature of the case. Kind of yes, kind of no. As far as I know, Andrew Carter, who was the judge who did deny the bail request a second time, said it was witness tampering. They're just worried that Diddy might try to intimidate some of the witnesses or contact them. So Puffy laid out this bizarre package where he would restrict visits. He would not see women outside of his family. They'd have a log. He'd have an ankle bracelet, yada, yada, yada. So he's not a flight risk, but it's like, well, no, but you still might try to contact, intimidate some witnesses we might bring against you. So, no, you're going to have to stay in jail. And the jail he's in is not light. It sounds a benign detention center in Brooklyn. No, that place is very harsh. It is very hardcore. So arguably he's in a worse prison than Danny Masterson. Figure that one out. But let me get to the main subject, which is possible charity fraud. And if you have to say one good thing about Diddy is he is a philanthropist, and it does seem rock solid. These are not fake charities. He has quite a few charities. In fact, one of them is about breast cancer, apparently. So he does give quite a little bit of money to charity. A lot of concerts he does give the proceeds away to charity. Now, obviously, the way laws are, especially in the US, it is a benefit, right? You don't have to pay certain taxes. So it's obviously mixed, but it does seem rock solid there. Not so much with his friend Ashton Kutcher, and we'll also get to Aaron Smith-Levin because he has been laughing and doing some videos mocking Danny Masterson and Ashton Kutcher, and he did one explicitly on Ashton's Iffy charity. So let's get into that because it is definitely mocking. Again, this is a serious subject, so I don't want to be too cavalier about it, but basically, Demi Moore and him, when they were married, set up a foundation called DNA. It became Thorn. Well, what does Thorn do? Thorn allegedly is trying to help the victims of, well, children who are being victimized. We'll just leave it very, very vague. So what's the idea? Well, supposedly that they're going to try to help the countries when monitoring social posts and I guess online transactions that they don't see certain images of children. So you think, who could be against that? Well, there are several problems here. For one thing, Thorn is not very transparent. So where the money is going, we don't know. Ashton directly benefited from the money. He kept making this whole thing like he's doing these runs and, oh, the money's going to my charity. He pocketed quite a healthy salary, apparently. He was on the board of directors. Following the Danny Masterson fiasco where he wrote those character letters, he stepped down. But as far as we know, he could still be getting a paycheck in the mail. So it's just a lot of iffy questions. And also, is Thorn even effective? Because apparently a law in the EU, which they're lobbying for, they're going to try to sell technology, right? So this is not just them, quote, advocating for children. They're really advocating for a product. And they'll benefit from selling the product to these countries to say, oh, yes, we'll help you with the children. Just buy our product. So it's like very unclear motives of what is sustaining this charity. Now, I want to be good faith because I think Demi Moore is a good person. However, two things can be true. She came in with good intentions, but they're misleading her as to, quote, what the mission of the charity is. And that happens a lot where charity starts off with good intentions, but it drifts further and further away and just becomes this bureaucracy to serve basically the trustees. And that should be very familiar because that is, in essence, Scientology, right? Scientology is technically a religious charity, but we all know it's not really a religious charity in any real sense. It's just a shell corporation to benefit Miscavige and a few of the other people in leadership positions, and everyone else just basically pays a tribute to him. So it's a very ugly pyramid scheme. But now let's get on to Aaron Smith-Levin and his charity work and how questionable that is. So now Aaron has tried to clarify that I was getting it all wrong, guys, that his SPTV foundation, which is not a real foundation in any real sense, yes, it's a not-for-profit corporation, but he said, listen, guys, that's fine. Not-for-profit, non-profit, it is the same things. No, Aaron, it is not the same thing. Believe me, the IRS will inform you these are not the same things. So if he did finally get the EIN, that's good on him. That doesn't take away that initially, for months and months and months, the SPT Foundation really had no real charity status at all. And he's saying he's keeping it secret. Why? Why would you keep that secret? Claire Headley on the Aftermath Foundation proudly puts up the EIN number. So if you want to give a donation, you can legitimately, right, contact the IRS saying, hey, I give a donation to this legit charity. That is the end of the question. Again, we're not here to praise Claire. Claire has her own issues, but the Aftermath Foundation is a legit charity all the way through. It is a legit IRS recognized charity. At this point, we don't know for sure if Aaron's charity, quote, is a charity. We just don't know. And as usual, Aaron was laughing off some of the accusations that had been leveled against him in his, quote, foundation, saying, I don't know what you're talking about. You're saying we spend money here and there. You don't have no idea what you're talking about. Well, no, we know certain things, that the board of directors was really big. Now it's much smaller. I've lost count how many people they've lost. They lost 3 to 4 people. They lost Dylan. They lost Serge recently. That was a big one. And they lost Sterling. And beyond the people they lost, the composition of the board keeps shifting. There were other people who were on the board initially, like Christy Gordon. She was there as the treasurer, and then a little time later, she just disappeared. She's not on the website anymore. Why she left? Don't know. Other people were supposed to be on the board. They never decided to stay on the board. So was that real? Was it a promise? Don't know. This does not happen in a normal charity. Usually it's very stable. It's pretty extraordinary for somebody to join and then just leave out of nowhere. And the instability of this board is insane. I mean, what did it start off with? Like 9, 10, 11 members? We just don't even know. And now it's reduced to what, 5 to 6? And Reese has clarified she's not even active in the charity. She says, yeah, I kind of, have a meeting here and there, but really not into it. That's really more Aaron's things. They really do have what? 5 actual board members who actually do something. And what do? Don't know, because we got to keep it confidential. We're helping a lot of people. That's very sensitive information. Right, even though Aaron has been caught red-handed several times doxing people, even deliberately trying to dox people who are criticizing him. But he's like, oh, the information is so sensitive. Oh, I'm very concerned with the privacy rights. Really? Really? You're not concerned with the privacy rights of a lot of people you go after, right? Including the alleged children who are being taken advantage of in Scientology. Well, if they're child victims, why in the world are you putting their faces and names all over the place? And he gets, to put it mildly, lots of things wrong, right? He will just mix up names, dates, locations, so you may not even be accusing the right people. So, again, it's just a lot of sloppy work by Aaron. Now, sloppy work is not technically illegal, but charity fraud is. Now, I think Aaron is being cute, and I get it. He comes from the business world. He's always been a bit of a huckster. And the thing is, he's not an economist. He's not a formally trained financial advisor. That's just not who he is. He just worked for a business in Scientology. He did investment research, kind of. That is it. So he has kind of just a shifty business background. And I guess from his point of view, he's not doing anything too bad. Well, maybe not. Neither was Ashton, because it is a thing. You set up a charity and pay yourself. I know of one case explicitly. This was very well publicized, but at least that charity seemed to do actual work. With Ashton and Aaron, it seems the primary goal is to benefit the board of directors. And who's on the board of directors? Oh, him and him. That said, there are watchdog groups, so we're going to need more data here. Thorn has been here for a while. I've never heard of it being spoken of as a great charity. Now, again, 2 things can be true. You might have a good reputation and still be guilty of charity fraud. It could just be Thorn has a bad reputation, but is doing something productive. But I am very skeptical. I mean, for God's sakes, Ashton was an ally of Scientology and still is. He's still hanging around Scientologists. And yet he's claiming, oh, the children, oh, they're being victimized. I cry out. And I don't join these other SPTV lunatics who think every child in the vicinity of a Scientology building is an automatic victim. That's just crazy stupid. On the other hand, you shouldn't be too naive. Clearly, they are going after children and teenagers for money. I think that's the primary reason. But, Serge and Aaron have these weirdo theories that children are being put to work in tunnels. And the work is graphic work. Okay. Keep going with that conspiracy nonsense. But anyway, I think the point would be that definitely some children have definitely been hurt by Scientology. As far as we know, Ashton did nothing to help those victims. Apparently, he may not even be aware there are victims. He just seems to have swallowed the Kool-Aid for good reasons, because him and Danny just hang out, play with guns, and play these celebrity games at their weird fundraisers. And, you can't deny that it has benefited Ashton. I mean, P Diddy's in jail. Ashton Kutcher is not in jail. Good or bad, this is just raw pragmatism. He's siding with a cult that's helping him and has helped him for decades. So, is he really concerned with children? Is he really there to help people with his charity? I have a lot of question marks, and him stepping down does not change anything. But give him that, he did at least formally stepped down from his organization. Aaron, in the midst of all these accusations and controversies, I'm staying here. I'm the president. I'm the president of my own charities. Well, why don't you just call it the Aaron Smith-Levin Corporation? That would just be a lot more transparent. Calling it even SPTV Foundation is like, what the hell does that even mean? It's not there for the protesters. They're part of SPTV. He said, those protesters, no, money not going to go to use. So who does it go to? Just Aaron and his friends. Okay, I mean, you can call it a charity, but it doesn't seem very charitable in any real sense.